I ended up picking up this 2000 GMC Sierra.
We get it almost every night, and now the moon gets big and bright. We get it almost every night, and now the moon gets big and bright. We get it almost every night, and now the moon gets big and bright. We get it almost every night, and now the moon gets big and bright. We get it.
Alright, so now's probably as good a time as any to take a break and discuss what some people think is probably the stupidest move I've ever done. And that is getting rid of Goldie Hawn, getting rid of the truck that pretty much got the channel where it is today. It was kind of bittersweet getting rid of the truck, because I think that's the vehicle that I've had the longest. I used to trade a lot of vehicles, buy and sell a lot of vehicles. And basically since starting the channel, for whatever reason, I kind of slowed down on that a lot. But it would basically be like every couple months I would be trading a vehicle for something else. And that was basically just because I wanted to just experience a bunch of different vehicles. And I didn't have the money to buy them at the time. I still kind of don't. So I would just trade them. And for those of you who are real early watchers of the channel, you remember a 93 Chevy C1500 that I used to have, black single cab step side, kind of like Jack Black, but like 40 times as nice. That was what I really started filming, was that truck a little bit. And I wanted to do a turbo LS in that. It was gonna be the first LS swap I did, first turbo vehicle that I built, really. I had others, but I've never built one. But that truck was just way too nice, and I didn't have the heart to cut it up and pull it apart and all that. Not that I really would have had to cut anything, it was just too nice for me to want to pull apart. So I saw the truck that would become Goldie Hawn posted on Marketplace for 1,800 bucks. I ended up getting it for 1,200 bucks because the truck really wasn't that great. The door was beat up, the cab corners were gone, the rockers were gone, the bed sides were beat up. It just really wasn't that great of a truck. But it was a 5.3 V8, it was two-wheel drive, and it had like 230,000 miles on it at the time. So the price was right. I didn't really care about beating it up. So I decided I was going to build that and sell the black truck that I called Fergie. I was gonna sell Fergie to fund building Goldie Hawn, and that's what I did for the most part. But like with any project vehicle, it kind of snowballed. So I did the basic bolt-ons, cam, headers, exhaust. I lowered it, which was like the video that really blew the channel up, was doing the 4.6 drop. If I could go back, I'd change a lot of things about that video. Yeah, I did all the basic stuff, and then I, like always, just perusing Marketplace, I saw the supercharger for sale, the Vortex supercharger, that a ton of people insisted was a Pro charger. And that still bugs me today, saying that's not a supercharger, it's a Pro charger. And it's like, guys, just get out of here. So yeah, I saw that for $2,000. I borrowed a little bit of money and went and bought that and put that on the truck, and it was a lot of fun. But I don't know, I definitely owe a lot to that truck. Like, there's no denying that. I owe basically the entire channel to that truck, which is the only reason that I wanted to keep it. Because it's like the truck itself, I basically fell out of love with, like, I don't know, probably the beginning of this year. And that's really why I started switching it to turbo. Well, one of the reasons. But I thought maybe if I actually did the turbo truck build that I bought the truck for, it would make me fall in love with the truck again. And it kind of didn't. The truck was a blast to drive, but just so many things kept going wrong with it. And it's not like they were big deals. I mean, the transmission sucked, especially when I bought a built transmission out of a buddy's car that he had been racing, and as soon as I put it in the truck, it just stops working. The truck, just for whatever reason, it's cursed when it comes to transmission. Hopefully that was just with me. The new owner, hopefully he doesn't have that issue. But yeah, like I said, it's not like they were huge things going wrong with it, but it was just, it seemed like every week something would go wrong with it, and it was just getting so old. It was getting to the point where I didn't enjoy the truck anymore, and it was just becoming a burden. And the truck just, it never lived up to the hype. Part of that for sure is on me, it's not the truck's fault. Like, there's only so many times you can make the same video over and over again where you're just like, we got this fixed on the truck, let's go out and test it. All right, it kind of works, and then something else breaks. And it was just, like I said, it was becoming a burden. So, and I didn't care for the truck like I used to. So there was one day where we were trying to get ready to go to a test and tune with it, and I had spent, like, the test and tune started at noon, and I had spent that entire morning getting a bunch of stuff changed on it and getting a bunch of stuff fixed on it. And I went to fire it up to load it on the trailer, and it wouldn't start. Like, there was just no power going to the starter. And I was so mad that I got out and I just started punching the bedside. So there's still dents in the bedside on the driver's side. So basically what it came down to was the truck was just, it was costing more than it was giving. And I'm not talking about money. It was costing more, like, on my soul, I guess, is the only way I can really put it, than it was giving back. Like, it wasn't giving me any joy. So that's kind of when I knew that I actually wanted to get rid of it. And I've been talking about it for months before I actually got rid of it. But I wasn't really sure, one, how I wanted to go about it, if I wanted to sell it or trade it. Ultimately, you guys know I traded it. And I wasn't sure how it would affect the channel. Because, I mean, obviously a big portion of you guys subscribed for the truck. So there was a small part of me that was kind of nervous that a bunch of people would, like, unsubscribe or leave. And then at the end of the day, I was like, well, if they do, that sucks, but, you know, it's kind of whatever. It's kind of like if they were only here for the truck and they did end up unsubscribing, then they weren't real supporters anyway, so I didn't actually care about them. The time came where I was like, I want to get rid of the truck. I wanted it gone. I wanted to not deal with it anymore. I wanted to not have the burden of trying to get the truck to live up to what I thought it should be. So that's when I posted it on Marketplace, and I had, honestly, not even exaggerating, I had probably 300 people messaging me about the truck, wanting to trade, wanting to buy it, things like that. And I had a ton of good offers. So that's kind of all there really is to it on why I got rid of the truck. I didn't enjoy the truck anymore. It was becoming a heavy burden, and it was always in the back of my mind that if I really wanted to and wanted to eat a bunch of ramen for a few months, I probably could have had a transmission built for it and all that, but I didn't want to anymore. Like I said, I was just done with it at that point, so I wanted it gone. I'll always love that truck, for sure, and I'll always owe a ton to that truck, but I just needed to move on. There's just other things that I wanted to deal with more than the truck. Like, I wanted to focus on the RX-7. I wanted to focus on the Monte Carlo. So that's what it was. But John, who has the truck now, a lot of you guys have commented that you've seen it in Detroit racing already, which is pretty rad. I appreciate seeing those videos. He already put it on the dyno, and the truck, he said, on 11 PSI, I think they had it on C16 and 93, but he said on 11 PSI, the truck made 700 to the tire, a little over 700 to the tire. Which was rad. That wasn't my tune. I think he said on my tune it made like 600, right around there, which was pretty rad. I think for about as novice as you can get as far as tuning, 600, that's not bad. And I don't want you guys to think that that means we're not into trucks here anymore. We're definitely still into trucks. We still have Jack Black, I still have Terry Crews. The engine actually for Jack Black will hopefully be going together relatively, well, I don't want to make that promise. We're still waiting on the pistons for it. That's the last thing, but those are about 4 weeks out, give or take. We might try to order them from a different place and see if they can get here quicker. But the last thing we're waiting for on the engine before that can go together is the pistons. But aside from Jack Black, I still have Terry Crews, and there is actually another truck that I kind of have my eye on if things work out. But that will definitely not be full on like Goldie was. I've said to a lot of people who have asked me, like, when my favorite incarnation of Goldie was, and it was 100% when it was just cam, headers, X-pipe, and lowered, and I could drive it anywhere. I could run, go get parts for it, things, and throw the dogs and kids in it, you know. So that's what I would be doing with the new truck, is if I end up getting it. Big if there. But it would just be a simple 5.3 with the cam, headers, and just shop truck. That's all. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it cleared a couple things up. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. We'll see you next time.